in your life.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open the Common Council meeting on Monday, February 8th at 7 p.m. Could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Carol, can you have a roll call, please?
Steve Beard.
Present.
Mike Bright.
Present.
Grant Fuller.
Present.
Joe Palmer.
Present.
Megan Sheets.
Present.
Clarence Worthen.
Present.
Eric Woods.
Present.
Next on the agenda are the minutes from the January 25th regular meeting. Was there any questions or concerns, or could I have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve the last minutes as written.
Second.
The January minutes as written.
Okay. Mike Bright made the motion, Eric seconded. Okay, roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Grant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Did we have any public comments? Did anybody see? Didn't have anything. Okay. Next on the agenda is ordinance 21-01. I would take a motion to read this by title only or in its entirety.
I move.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Grant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods. Ordinance number 21-01, an ordinance providing a procedure for applications and agreements for fire service to unincorporated areas.
It has been asked that we pass this ordinance, suspend the rules and pass on first, second, and third. I guess, Les, I need to ask you at what point if there's any questions or concerns. Should we go ahead and
You can go ahead. In this situation, I would go ahead and see if there are any questions or concerns about it, but let me just relate the procedure. We have to have a unanimous vote of all members present to suspend the rules. And then when the ordinance is voted on, in order to pass it on all three readings when it's introduced, which is tonight, you must have a 2/3 vote of the entire council. So that would be 5 favorable votes.
okay. Was there any questions or concerns on this ordinance? This is an ordinance concerning fire service to NHK. What we will provide for them at what cost up until time of annexation. Do they want to have?
I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules and pass ordinance 21-01 on all 3 readings.
To that motion? Brant seconded that. Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Grant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, I would entertain a motion then to pass this ordinance.
So moved. I move that we pass ordinance number 21-01 on all 3 readings. I'll second.
Everybody's anxious for this. Okay, roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Grant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Ordinance 21-01 passes on first, second, and third reading tonight. Next on the agenda is ordinance 21-02. Could I have a motion to read this by title only or in its entirety?
Make a motion, we read the title only.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Grant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2102, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Frankfort, Indiana, amending eligibility requirements for water contract rate.
I've been asked for the council to take consideration into the same thing, passing this on the first, second, and third reading. Do we have any comments or discussion on this at that time? Does anybody have anything on this? Yeah. Todd?
I'll let him speak to it if he has anything to say.
Certainly, basically what this ordinance is doing, it's not changing any rates or anything else that you've already adopted for your water utility. You have one contract customer. And there was a term in that contract that your lender, State Water Fund, did not like. And it was the contract that essentially established a minimum purchase. And so we had to renegotiate with Frito-Lay to replace that. And where we landed was, rather than having a minimum purchase, we agreed to a provision that would say, as long as they are within a certain level, they're going to pay the rate that you previously adopted. If they fall below that level of consumption, then they're just going to pay the standard rates. And so what we're doing, essentially to satisfy your lender, is changing the eligibility requirement to a contract rate, which previously had a guaranteed revenue level in there. We're changing it to a term that the state revolving fund is acceptable in state revolving fund.
Is there any other questions or anything, Mike? Or?
One of the reasons why we would like to have this done on all three readings is so that we're under the gun for our funding through the state revolving fund. And we have our pre-close date of March 2nd. So that's why if we can get this done because we're waiting for that, we would greatly appreciate it on our end.
Suspend the rules and pass on first, second, and third reading.
Yeah, this is Megan. I'll make that motion. Okay.
Was that Steve?
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright, Grant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, now I would entertain a motion to pass this ordinance on first, second, and third reading.
So moved.
Second. I'll second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Grant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Ordinance 21-02 passes on the first, second, and third reading. Next on the agenda is old business, and Matt Stidham from the Frankfort Fire Department is here to talk about the new public safety, thank you, Nick, training complex.
What do you want me to?
Get the mic, please.
All right, good evening, everybody. Just kind of want to revisit this with everybody again to see if maybe the council of the city has kind of made any decisions on what they would like to do for the funding or helping with the funding of this public safety training center. I know everybody has a package. I do have a few of the flyers we made up, which is just like a quick overview of the whole package. If anybody wants one, but I just want to see where we're at with the city and how you guys are feeling about it. And if over the last couple of months, you guys have any decisions or questions for me.
As far as fundraising on your end, how's that going? Is it going pretty well or?
We are a little stagnant right now. We've got our fundraising from Co-Alliance that they donated. I think that was in the paper a week or so ago with everybody. Goodwill, they're doing their drive right now currently, and we've gotten some funds from them. So right now, that's where we're at as far as us going out and reaching out. We want to get out to the industrial parks and other businesses to see what they can do to help us out. But from us as a group or our committee, we really want to see that the city, for money. I mean, it just looks better for us when we go out to these businesses and we say, hey, is there anything to donate? That we can at least say, hey, city's been able to give us this kind of money, the county's been able to give us this kind of money, and here's the projected cost of what we're trying to raise. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is kind of in the hinge of waiting on city and county to see what they may want to do. And I know when I was here last time in December, we said we'd probably revisit this again in February, so that's why I'm here today.
Didn't we, the last time you met with us, it was kind of showing that in the long run, this would save the city money and training
Yes,
because the amount that it costs to send the guys.
yes, absolutely. I mean, it's going to cost, in the long run, over the time of this, of having this training facility, it's going to save thousands of dollars to the city and to the fire department. And it's, the most important thing for us is it's going to save lives. It's going to teach others to how to save lives. Is this thing going to make money, or are we going to be able to, make a profit off of this facility? Not in the beginning, but over time, we will be able to promote different types of trainings that we can start to get money that's incorporated in this. And one of those things was something the FBI does, I think is what one of the authors said, but I guess they can come here and, they can pay $500,000, $600,000 a person just to come here and do those types of trainings. So, it won't happen right away. I want to make sure that everybody at least understands, it's not going to be a moneymaker. This is not going to be a facility that's going to make us money. But over time, we'll have more sustainability with it to be able to get money, raise money, and again, help other initiatives at the police department, fire department, EMS, or, even in some of our businesses. We really want to incorporate some of the factories and industry to come here and do like actual training on how sprinkler system works, how fire extinguishers work, just so we can provide something not just to us to save our lives in the police department, but also to our community as well.
How much funding are you need, is needed?
Total right now, the total project's $140. So if you look at the $140,000, we still need $132,000 as of right now. Keep in mind, we've purchased 3 containers already. I know we talked about that in December. So that would come off of the $140,000. And then we've had a donation from Co-Alliance. And I don't have a number yet from Goodwill because they're still finishing up.
I can say right now, we are up to almost $5,300.
Great. So with that, there'd be close to Center Township. We spoke to them in the 1st of January, and they were supposed to discuss at their first meeting in February as well about what money they're going to give us. Now, as of the conversation we had with John, it was going to be, anywhere from $20,000 up to $50,000 that they're willing to give us. So,
I have my notes, that we're gonna do
yes. So,
May as well, right?
yeah, EMA bought the 3 containers. And, as time goes on throughout this budget year, we'll see what kind of needs we're going to have. And we have a little bit of money there to maybe buy another container, buy some structural materials, so that way we can start to get these things built. My goal is to raise enough money to get phase 1 done by August, is what I'd like to have.
What's the cost of phase 1?
Phase 1's going to be right around $80,000. to get phase one done. That could be the pipe containers, the structural materials inside, and actually get them placed on the site, so.
Well, and I'll let the mayor speak to this more, but I'm still not sure that we're in a position, I don't think there's a member up here that doesn't want to help on this, because it's obvious that something like this, I think, will pay for itself in the long run. However, without not knowing what our income into the city and taxes, and with the COVID thing right now, I'm not sure that we even know where we can pull it from at this stage of the game. It's not that we don't want to help, and maybe the mayor has.
We have not closed out our 2020 yet. I think as soon as we get 20 closed out, we see where we are. I think that's going to be a big benefit to us as well. Maybe something we have to do additional appropriation for. I don't know about the police and fire, if they would have anything in their budgets that they would be able, to significantly help you on this. So I'm thinking it's probably, I don't know, Eric, I don't know what you're thinking as far as the council, but probably would have to be something like that.
Well, like Mike was saying, I haven't heard any dissenting views on the need for training or training facility. It's just an issue of, we normally handle these kind of capital expenses requests during a budget session. Otherwise, we're doing additional appropriation. Without the appropriation report in front of me, I'm just going to guess our option would be, like you said, a little bit from police or fire or lit funds that we find that we don't need to expend later in the year. But what kind of county commitment do you have right now?
So I have the same commitment that you guys have, that's given me. Basically, you're saying, yes, we want to do it, but we got to find some money.
Okay.
So, same deal as with the county was, we'll go back in February, we're going to revisit with them as well to kind of, just keep it out there. I think, I want the public to get behind us as well, which I think with good oil company doing this initiative, it's really helped a lot of getting people interested in this. And that's kind of where we're at with the county right now. I came to both the city and county both and said, I'm asking for 40 from each, but we'll take what we can get. And that's where we was at with the county. So county, we're going to revisit again this month, and then we'll see where they're at with it as well.
So are you wanting like a one-time commitment or like a continued every year? Would there be a commitment or?
I think that what we would do is, I talk to the fire department, maybe the police department, see what we could do every year. We're going to have some expendables every year. Material that we use to burn, things that the law enforcement are going to use, it's going to have to be replenished every year. So we are going to want a commitment at some point down the line of, maybe $1,000 out of the budget each year. Yeah, just annually. We're not going to want $20,000, $40,000 annually to operate this thing. We're looking at just some of the expenditures of what materials are being used.
I guess the only recommendation that I can see us making right now, if there's a consensus among the council that this is important, which I think we have, to find out, is there anything we can do this year, or do we have to push it to the budget hearing for 2021? I think that's at least a recommendation the Finance Committee could come up with.
And I'm hoping in the next month or two to have the end of the year, the new year started, kind of see where we're going, get a better idea on revenues. I just mentioned to the Finance Committee the other day that maybe the next month or so we'll get together and try to determine where we're going from here. Maybe we could talk then, Eric, when we get our reports at the end of the year, or see what we're expecting, and sit down with Finance Committee and get back with you.
Sure.
Steve and Megan, what are your thoughts?
I think it's definitely a project that we all are very excited about that. And you've been presenting it very well. We haven't forgotten about it, but as the mayor has said, I think we need to just totally close out 2020 and then reevaluate where we are. We will keep you apprised along the way.
Okay.
I think it's a great project. You said, I think it's going to be a savings
Sure.
for the city, and our manpower can stay here in town. We're not going to have to go out. We're not going to have expenses of meals and lodging and all that type of thing. So we support you on that. Let us work on the money.
Sounds good.
Okay,
All right.
okay. Thank you.
I like the project a lot. The concern right now is because of the pandemic and everything else, the doubts on cash flow. But I really truly believe that if and when, and I do believe it's a when, things open up a little, we will be very supportive of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, I
Appreciate you
know
coming.
out there, I mean, I know our minimum goal is 10,000. Right. And I don't think we're gonna have a problem reaching that. So I mean, we just started, we're already halfway there.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you coming.
Hey, no problem.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Clinton County Prosecutor Tony Sommers, and he's here to talk to us about the deferral fund. So you might explain to us a little bit, Tony, how this works. I think I've only seen it once since I've been in office, so.
Also a supporting ordinance that was passed by the council at that time. It's infraction deferral is a creature of statute and ordinance. The funds are subject to the discretion of the prosecuting attorney in the county, but they're also subject to normal appropriation methodology for public funds. There is a balance that's unappropriated in the city's infraction deferral account or fund in excess of $11,000. And so I'm here tonight to ask for appropriation of that fund. I received a request from Chief Scott Shoemaker regarding equipment that's needed for new police vehicles that are being acquired by the city. And so my desire is to have the balance of that fund appropriated for use for law enforcement equipment with the intent to use the money to purchase speed timing devices for those patrol vehicles. Speed timing devices are expensive equipment, and it is important that those vehicles be equipped with speed timing devices for speed enforcement. It's a major component of traffic enforcement for all police agencies in the state of Indiana, that they be able to accurately measure speed of vehicles for compliance with speed limits. It's important to reduce the seriousness of motor vehicle accidents when they happen, but it goes much further than that. Traffic enforcement is a major component of law enforcement activity. Traffic stops often lead to far more in terms of enforcement activity than just a ticket that's been in the county. So I'm more than happy to try to support what they're doing with this appropriation. But I need your assistance because we need the appropriation so we can purchase these equipment.
I have a question on that, Tony. I can't remember how we did that before. Did we give the money to you and then?
It can be done either way. The appropriation could be in a line item for the city for that particular use. And then the city is in a position can go ahead and do it directly. I can do it as a donation to the city. So it could be appropriated to a donation item. And then I technically wind up giving the money back to the city for the use. It can be done. It's just as long as the city council is involved in appropriating from the fund. That fund has been accumulating slowly, as you say, we've done this one time before, but the accumulation on the fund has increased in recent years. After City Court Judge Matt Beardsley took the bench in City Court and aligned his fine schedule with the county's fine schedule, we've seen an increase in deferrals in City Court. And so that's what's contributed to the fund balance increasing in recent years. And just in general, we have seen an increase in deferrals with the pandemic. People don't want to come to traffic court. So it's been kind of an odd result, cause and effect, but that's what we've seen.
Carol, I don't know if there's any preference that you would have. For I think last time, Tony, is that we just gave the money to the prosecutor's office rather than us do the purchase.
We can do that.
And I was
in which
thinking
case-
we just did a vote through the county, through the city council that says to go ahead and maybe send to you, and then you would that
Yeah,
work? I
we
mean,
can
do you
that
have a
way.
problem with that?
Or it can be where it's appropriated to a line item within your budget and transfer for use with the rest of your budget for purchase equipment. Those parts of how it gets done do make a difference in terms of, in the eyes of the equipment seller, who owns the equipment. If you transfer the money to my office, then in the eyes of the seller, it looks like I own those speed timing devices. My preference is that the city owns speed timing
Okay.
devices.
Okay, so we could pay the vendor. Okay. See, there wasn't quite enough in there for the vendor.
It's
Is
going
that
to
correct?
take, I didn't say that, but that is the balance of the city deferral fund falls just a few $100s short
Okay,
of what the total purchase price will be for the speed timing devices. But there are additional funds in the county deferral account, which are already appropriated, that I'll be able to round out to satisfy the entire purchase price.
okay, so then you could, transfer that over to there, bring it to the city,
Either way,
maybe set up like a donations or something, and then we can make the check to the vendor. Does that sound, how's that sound with you, Scott?
That's it.
Okay, okay. Thank you, I appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions for Tony on this or how this works?
The funds go into that account, just so I'm clear, from traffic court.
it is within the city traffic court.
Okay,
Just
just
payments are made at the city clerk treasurer's office, but then they go into that fund. And then they are there accumulating the balance until such time as at my request, the funds are appropriated.
and that's just from Frankfurt City.
That is just the city court of this particular fund, that is your fund. We set one up for the city court, and we set one up for the county courts.
Okay.
And so there are two different funds in the county.
That's what I was.
We're talking about using the balance of the city fund in this request, but then just a little bit more to round out the purchase price of the county.
Thanks, Tom.
Did you have anything on that, Les?
No, that sounds like a good way to do it.
Yeah, okay. If that's okay with you, I think that'd probably the easiest, the most efficient way to do that.
I agree.
And then that way we would only, I never thought about that it would give us possession.
I don't need it on the radar.
You don't want to, huh? Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. If anybody has any more questions for him? Okay.
So we have an appropriation ordinance at our next meeting.
We can do it that way.
We can do it that way, or we can do it by motion. Don't you think we can do it by
Motion
motion?
would be a lot simpler.
Yeah.
So we just want to do that tonight? Get it over with?
I can tell you the fund number.
To your pleasure.
That is fund, 3, I have my glasses on, 381. And it's called the deferral account.
Okay, so
And there's 11,128.85.
okay, so you need a motion to allow the transfer.
Appropriate the 11,000.
To allow the clerk treasurer to send the money to them.
So I'll make a motion to appropriate the full balance in the city referral fund for use of. Also,
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright, Brant Fuller,
aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan, do you need anything from us then, Tony?
At this point,
Okay,
anything else that's necessary from my end, I can work with Carol. or
Okay.
you.
okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, did anyone have anything else tonight under older new business? I'll take a minute to adjourn.
I'll move.
Have a second?
The rest of us will stay.
Oh, you wouldn't stay?
I'll second.
Okay, Mike seconded. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, everyone, for